Welcome to my Life Coach Full broadcast, where this week we continue to talk about rejection. And the past weeks, I've talked about the what is rejection and the types of rejection. And today we're going to talk about manifestations of rejection. I'm just going to highlight a few. There are a lot out there, so I'll just highlight a few manifestations of rejection. And just as a side note, if I highlight something that applies to you, I'm not saying you're coming from a place of having to deal with rejection. Just find out the root cause of why you act the way that you act. So, number one, perfectionism. People who are perfectionist and they are dealing with the spirit of rejection, they have a fear of disapproval. They say if people see my flaws, then they fear that people will no longer accept them. So they try to be perfect as a way of protecting themselves from criticism, from rejection and disapproval. So when you find yourself dealing with perfectionism, ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why? Ask that question and try to honestly answer that question. And then it can lead you to whether you are dealing with issues of rejection or not. Number two, withdrawing from life. Oh, I've worked with people for years and I've seen people who have suffered rejection withdraw from life. They've given up on their dreams. They are no longer like ambitious, no longer like looking forward to doing life. They literally stop living. They are there, but not there. So sometimes when we suffer rejection, it's important that you keep living, you keep putting yourself out there, you keep improving. Don't stop living. Do not stop living. So sometimes people withdraw from life in fear of being rejected again. So withdrawing from life can mean, just simple. I'll just give a simple example, like somebody who has suffered rejection, and people come along to want to do something for them. Let's say it's their birthday, and they say, you know what, we want to plan a birthday for you. Let's go out and celebrate on your birthday, and we're going to invite so and so. If that person has suffered rejection before, they'll probably say, no, I don't want anything to be done for me ever. Some do it because they're just not that type, but some, they're coming from a place of having been rejected, and they don't want to put themselves out there. They had a brilliant idea and they presented it somewhere and it was not taken. So they just said, you know what, enough. I will not put myself out there. I don't want to be embarrassed. So they withdraw from life, and that can be a very dangerous place to be in. You cannot live a purposeful life when you withdraw from life. So anytime you are rejected, we're going to be talking more next week, I believe, when we talk about how to best deal with rejection. What do you do? Because we said rejection does hurt. So some people, when they are hurt, they withdraw from life, but that's not the way to deal with rejection. And number three, self-reliance. There are some people who have been rejected in life, and depending on the type of rejection, where they have told themselves that, you know what, I am just going to do me. I'm going to do life by myself. I can give an example of, let's say somebody grew up without their parents. Maybe their parents passed on when they were young. So they grew up in different families. Maybe they were tossed from one family to the other. And maybe the way they were treated was not right. They felt the rejection. They were treated differently. So that person, sometimes they will just tell themselves, you know what, I'll be here. But when I get out of this environment, I am not going to ask for anything from anybody. I'm just going to be self-reliant. I will do life by myself. I can do damage by myself. And these people who often resist even when help is offered. They'll say, no, because of their experiences of rejection. So now it's very important to find out, when you are so self-reliant that you don't need help, you don't want help from people, check what is the root cause of this behavior. There's nothing wrong with being responsible in life. I believe even us as parents, we teach our children to be responsible at certain age groups. They have to be able to do certain things by themselves. But being responsible and being so heavily self-reliant, where you tell yourself you don't need anybody, you don't need people, that cannot, because we need people. We need each other. We need one another. That's why rejection hurts, because somebody is saying no. It hurts because we were built to need one another, to help one another. So if you see yourself heavily self-reliant, check. Look at the root cause. What is it that has caused me to be where I am, where I feel this way? What is it? And then number 4, I believe, people pleasing. People pleasing. So these people now, they're kind of different from the ones that we draw from life. These people are rejected, or they fear rejection, so they will do whatever it takes to fit into a certain group. So they will do, these kinds of people will do some things that are out of character for them so that they can fit in. So you want to ask yourself, this thing that I am doing, am I doing it to please people, or am I doing it for me? When you find yourself honestly answering that question, and you see that you've got a problem of people pleasing, then deal with it. Because I've realized that people who are people pleasers, sometimes they will do things that you never thought they would do. Say, this is out of character for them. They are just doing it so that they can fit into that particular group, so that they can be accepted. In order for you to be part of us, you have to do things a certain way. So you become a people pleaser. Manifestations of rejection. And then the other one is pride. When somebody is rejected, sometimes pride can kick in. And you tell yourself, you know what, they have rejected me. I want to show them. Anytime you begin saying, I want to show them, you don't do things to prove anything to anybody. No. So anytime you have that spirit of, I want to show them that I can do damage all by myself, I can even do these things better than them, then now the spirit behind you doing things is coming out of a place of hurt, a place of where you've rejected, and now you're operating out of pride, and it's not a good place to be in. Seek help. There are ways, healthy ways of dealing with rejection, so that I don't operate out of pride. There are so many other manifestations of a rejection, but the last one that I want to talk about is there's what we call rejection sensitivity, where people, because of the type of the amount of rejection that they have suffered, they have what we call rejection sensitivity. They're sensitive, so sensitive, hypersensitive to rejection. So people with rejection sensitivity tend to misinterpret, distort, and overreact to what other people say and do. They are so sensitive to rejection that it's so dangerous. You try to do this, you try to do this for them, but they just are far away. They are so sensitive. So they tend to misinterpret actions of people. I'll just give a simple example and then I close on this one. Like, if somebody who has rejection sensitivity, you can ask somebody to say, you know what, do you want us to go for a cup of tea? And if that person responds and says, you know what, I had something planned, can we do it later? A person with rejection sensitivity will not take it as if that person is telling the truth, that they really had something planned. They will just say, oh, you see, I put myself out there, but people do not make time for me. But truthfully, this person might have had something planned. But now, because of rejection sensitivity, I see everything from the eyes of rejection, of being rejected. And yeah, this one, it's a big one. So and again, as I close today, if I highlight something and you think you really need help, reach out for some professional help. Reach out and work with somebody to deal with certain things so that you can live a purposeful life. A purposeful life. And again, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at My Life Coach Fu. And I'll meet you next week where we're going to be talking about dealing with rejection. Thank you. Have a blessed, fruitful, and purposeful day.